Before I came to 3D, my life was broken.
Hopeless.
Empty.
Painful.
Meaningless. Forgotten.
Pathetic.
Ruined.
Useless.
Angry.
Forsaken.
Chaotic.
Dangerous.
Shattered.
Misled.
Since I came to 3D, God has given me hope.
Purpose.
Dreams.
Healing.
Washed. Comforted. Unity. Reborn. Peace.
Freedom.
Accepted.
Fulfillment. Salvation.
Our goal at 3Dimensional Life is to help troubled teens rediscover their life's purpose. We want to rescue students and restore families. You're about to hear from a young man named Chris Perkins, whose life was in shambles before he came to 3Dimensional Life. You're going to hear how his family restoration took place and what God has done since he's been here. I hope you enjoyed one of our many testimonies of what God has done through a young man.
Well, it started when I was a kid. When I was first born, I didn't know my father. He had left. He wasn't there for us. And the man who was supposed to replace him wasn't always the man he was supposed to be. He wasn't the father he was supposed to be. He turned out to be a very mean person, someone who had a lot of hate in him. And as I grew up, I started to believe the lies he had told me and my mom and my sisters. So at 14, it all kicked off. I was skipping school all the time, getting out of going to school, making up excuses why I couldn't go to school. Later on that year, when I was going to school I wasn't even supposed to be going to, I even got in trouble with drugs with a friend, and from there, luckily God stopped that, but the behavior kept on going and going. A lot of what my daily life was just sitting in my room, being on a computer all day, playing video games, and I carried on with that over and over and over again. That was my everyday behavior. That was an everyday thing for me, and that carried into other behaviors like a lot of eating. I became really overweight and became 320 pounds, 330 pounds. My mom started to really notice it, and that's when the hospital started. That's when the program started. When I turned 15, I went to the first hospital, a mental hospital for severe depression, because my mom was seeing that behavior in me. And as I went there, nothing really changed, and I ended up going back to the same situation, same home, same everyday thing that was happening before. Well, it got to the point where I was, it was even being a problem in the whole family, where I was getting in fights with my mom's boyfriend, where it became such a problem that I was not handleable. I was literally alone. There wasn't a mom, there wasn't a dad, there wasn't a God, there was no one there that I felt was there that could help me. And it finally got to the point where I had to make a decision in my life where it was either life or continue living this way, which really was death. And that's when I made the decision to come to 3D. When I got to 3D, it was definitely a struggle getting in, getting used to things, getting used to being around people all the time, being around new guys who wanted to treat me like a brother. The hardest thing I think was about 3 months in, first accepting God. It was definitely a struggle being okay with having Him in my life and bringing Him into my life. And from there, things definitely kicked off. One of the things we do at 3D, it's really based around body, soul, and spirit. And I think God's really definitely worked a miracle in my life in all three of those. Starting out with body, obviously, I started out 320 pounds getting here, and now 11 months later, I'm only about 215 right now. Being 11 months in, it's definitely been a long journey, but ultimately God has worked miracles in my life. God putting me through all I've been through, and then giving me an opportunity to grow to know Him through 3D was the ultimate blessing, the only thing that probably could have gotten me on this path I am now. God has definitely changed my life in a way I can't even describe, and no words can explain how grateful I am for what He's done for me and everything He continues to do for me in my life.